Well, hello everyone. Today is Thursday, actually the day before the new Shadow and Bone series comes out. And I thought I'd try something new because today I want to start a kind of themed reading vlog. So up until now I have done my reading vlogs in a monthly way or sometimes weekly when there is a special readathon or something like that. But yeah, the monthly videos are very long because I read between like 5 and 7 books a month. And yeah, when I talk about them, just very long videos happen. So I thought we can try this kind of themed reading vlog. I see that a lot on Riley Marie's channel. And she's one of my favorite booktubers, so I thought I will just try it. So this first one will be kind of Grisha centered. So what I want to do in this reading vlog is I want to reread King of Scars and then finally read Rule of Wolves, because actually I have read King of Scars 2 years ago now. And I do know some major plot points that happened, but I forgot all the minor details. So for example, I can't tell you who the saints were that were important in it and stuff like that. So I definitely want to reread it. And so I want to read these 2 books during this vlog and then also talk about the TV show on Netflix as it comes out tomorrow. And I will probably watch it within the next 2 weeks or something. And so I hope this will be interesting. I don't know. You can let me know if you prefer these kind of themed reading vlogs, because I have a couple of ideas what I might do next, but we'll just see how it goes. So for now, we're gonna do the Grisha verse, and I will start reading or rereading King of Scars today, because I will take a nice hot bath now and take this book with me. So I have read the first 100 pages tonight, and I can't show you my face right now because I have mascara basically everywhere, but I just love this book. I know there's a lot of people who were very disappointed with it, but I love all of the 3 main characters, and even though I think Nina's story is a bit slower in the beginning, I do love them all, and I do love all the POVs that we get in this book. So yeah, I made a good start tonight, and I hope I can keep my pace throughout the weekend and also tell you more about the show when it starts tomorrow. I'm very excited. Yeah. Come on, please. So we just watched the first episode of the Shadow and Bone show, and it was really good. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Now, this first season has 8 episodes, and the thing is that I'm a little bit afraid that this is one of those shows that you can't watch if you're not already in the fandom, because I feel like you're really thrown in there. Like, they throw around words like Sun Summoner, Heartrender, and stuff like that, like it's nothing. Also like Squalor. And I feel like if you're not part of the fandom, you're like, what the fuck are all of these things? Like, what the hell is a Heartrender? And then you see Nina just touching someone at the wrist. And it's like, if you don't know what it is, like, you have no idea what's happening. So that makes me a little bit nervous. Because, yeah, I think it's just really hard to get into this if you're not already familiar with the world. And that would be really sad, because obviously a TV show should be able to stand on its own. It's like similar to the Harry Potter movies, where you just won't get certain things if you haven't read the books and have the explanation for them. So apart from that, I really liked it. I am so glad that we already got some Jasper scenes. I think one of them was in the trailer. But yeah, I'm just so excited. I'm so excited about Jasper. I don't really know how I feel about the heist. So in this one, they don't do like a real heist, but it seems like they will go and attempt to cross the fold to get to Alina. That was something that a lot of people had already guessed from the trailers, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I'm not quite sure. I just think it would have been better to tell the story chronologically like the books do. Yeah, I don't know, I don't know. But it's just great to see all these characters come to life, and honestly, the world is so cool. So cool. And yeah, so I will keep you updated when we watch the second episode. So last night we watched episodes 2 and 3 of Shadow and Bone. I really liked these 2 episodes. I think I liked them more than the first one, actually, because you are, a little bit more in the world, and the Six of Crows characters get a little bit more space, and I just felt like the balance was a little bit better. I think that you can totally feel that the Shadow and Bone storyline is a lot more like serious and kind of dramatic, while the Six of Crows storyline is much more fun and interesting. I think that's really quite interesting because you have that whole thing with the books as well, where, I didn't like the first trilogy that much because it was just a bit too dramatic and boring at the same time for me. And then I really liked the Six of Crows books because they were more fun. So yeah, I think that's quite interesting how this dynamic is still in the show, even though they are kind of mixing it up. Jasper, my favorite. I love Jasper. He's perfect, the actor's perfect, the lines are perfect, the scenes are perfect, and the goat. Let us give a moment to the goat. It was so adorable. The whole thing with the goat was fantastic. Like, from the first moment, seeing Cass carrying the goat around, then telling Nash not to get attached to it, and then Jasper hugging the goat and shooting Volcra was hilarious. It was so good. And yeah, I think the Six of Crows characters just add a lot. I'm a bit confused by the storyline of Nina, to be honest. I think that they're kind of smart, but it's kind of confusing me because obviously we don't get the Six of Crows storyline. So in the books, they have a completely different task that they're doing, and also certain characters haven't met, but they come together to do this heist in the books. And I feel like in the show, they're trying to keep it open a little bit. So, for example, Nina is not with the others yet, even though they were supposed to meet at one point, but they don't really know each other. So, yeah, it's just a bit confusing. Also, there's other characters. I mean, it's obviously called Six of Crows, and we only have Nash, Jasper, and Cass being together right now. So there's also other characters that aren't even there yet. They don't exist in this universe of the show yet. So yeah, it's all a little bit interesting, and I don't want to, spoil a lot, but I think when this video goes up, which will be in a couple of weeks, everyone who really wants to will have seen the show. So yeah, so far I am so hyped for this show, and I can't wait to watch the next 2 episodes tonight. I want to spread it out a little bit, just, because I'm so excited and I don't want to rush it all off. So yeah, I will keep you updated. I'm 140 pages into King of Scars now, and there was just the burial scene. I'm not gonna say more because of spoilers, but it's such a hard scene to read. It's really hard to read. Even though I know what will happen in the end of the book and all, but it's such a good scene. So now I will get some dinner and watch episode 4 and probably 5.
Dear Alina.
Okay, so episode 4 was a lot. Some great things, like the goodbye to the goat was so weird. But I loved it. But then the ending is so much with Mel in the woods and Alina deciding to get rid of the scar. I do like the dynamic of the Darkling and Lena. I think it works really well. Yeah, I'm just really intrigued to see where that goes, how far they will go. There's this one scene I remember from the books, which I really liked, but I'm not quite sure whether they will keep it. I guess we'll see when all the festivities happen. But yeah, obviously the scenes with Bagra are fantastic. And yeah, just Genya. Genya is amazing. I think I think they say Genya in the show. It doesn't make sense to me because the letter is pronounced G in Russian. I only had like the minimal amount of Russian, but that's something I'm pretty confident of. So yeah. Oh my god, this is so much. This is so much. Also, the heist moment, I think, was done quite well. Obviously, Jesper, always there to save the day, you know? He's just great. So, finished episode 5. This one was great. I think this is my favorite episode yet. They left the scene in there, which I'm very happy about. I know that Lena and the Darkling is very toxic, obviously. But still, it's such a good scene. I really enjoy it. So, let's talk about Jesper. He is such a mess. Like, he can't do any task without a detour or some, other business. But I love that. He is so great. I love how the 5th episode ended with the carriage and Jesper knowing, and yeah, it's really good. And I think it's pretty cool because it would have been sad if they had succeeded with their mission. So yeah, I think this all works out quite well, and they were very smart about it. And yeah, I just enjoy it so much. There's so many things that I just get really excited about all the time. So I forget all of them because it's just so much. But yeah. Oh, also, obviously, Kenya and David. I love it. It is so well done. I love the party scene where he's watching her and then she turns around and he's like, oh, no, I wasn't watching. This is so cute. Oh, I love these two so much. And yeah, this is very intriguing because obviously a lot of the plot points are similar, but then also different. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see where this goes because I guess the overall plot is kind of similar and then certain scenes are the same, but then also things are very different. So I think that's very smart because obviously, yeah, you can just watch it and not know everything that's gonna happen. And I think that is just something that really helps with adaptations, if you don't compare the two the whole time, but just enjoy the ride and it gives you a similar feeling. And honestly, this gives me a better feeling than the first trilogy of the books had. So I'm here for it. And yeah, so I think I will watch the rest of this tomorrow night. So I have that finished and I can go back to tell you all about the Nikolai duology. But yeah, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And I must say, I was a little bit glad that I didn't watch the Alina and Darkling scene with my partner. I think I would have blushed a lot if my partner was here right now. I just remembered 3 more things I wanted to talk about. First of all, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the portrayal of Kaz's disability. As you may know from the books, he walks with a cane, and now they've been undercover, and he couldn't use that. And it was very obvious that this made walking very hard for him. But I'm still not quite sure how I like that. Yeah, because I guess every disability is different, and it always irks me a little bit when there is a situation which would be difficult with the disability, and then it just kind of takes a step back, if you know what I mean. I'm not quite sure about that. I don't remember if that was in the books as well at some point. I don't know. Then we have Zoya, which is one of my favorites, you know. And she's not in the TV show so much, but during the ball, there's this scene where a white woman categorizes Inej as Zemini, but she's Zuli, and so you only see kind of Zoya walking behind her being like, she's Zuli, and just walking past them and looking annoyed, so that was a great scene. And then last but not least, obviously Inej, and that's a spoiler, so if you haven't watched it and you don't want to know anything, skip this part, but Inej killed the first person in her life to save Cass, and obviously that's a very important scene. And I don't know how I feel about it. I felt a little bit rushed the way it was, but then again, I mean, if you save someone's life, it is rushed, so you have to make this decision in like a split second. So I'm intrigued to see whether they bring that up again, whether they talk about it again as soon as they're out of this dangerous situation, because, yeah, I feel like there is potential for more discussion about it there. So I'm 160 pages into King of Scars right now. There was just the burial scene. If you've read the book, you know what I mean. And it's been so heartbreaking. I remember that, you know, my heart broke when I read this the first time, and it broke all over again last night. It's just so sad and so well done as well. So yeah, that happened. And then I wanted to say one other thing, but it's a major spoiler for the end of this book. So if you haven't read it yet, skip over this part until the next clip starts. But watching the show yesterday of Shadow and Bone, and then having read the first chapter with Yuri, where he talks about the Starless Saint, I'm so excited to get him back and to see what happens in Rule of Wolves. I'm just so excited. Yeah, so just the quickest update on that. If this doesn't scream Titanic to you, I don't know. She reminds me so much of Kate Winslet, and now she's, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's just funny.
There's nothing, I'm fine.
I know that voice.
Voice.
The voice you use when you're not fine.
I'm fine.
So, just finished episode 6. Wow, that was an episode. I don't even know where to get started. This will have spoilers, so if you haven't watched the episode, skip this part. I actually predicted that Alina would escape from the crows as soon as they stopped. That was the only smart thing to do. And yeah, so that wasn't so surprising also that she found Mal, so they can go back to the storyline as we know it, I guess. Cass facing off the Darkling, that was unexpected and a little bit unbelievable, but you know, he's a good good magician, so wow. David. They punched David. I love how he threw the book at Jasper. And Jasper's like, he threw a book at me. That was so funny. Yeah. Then we have Matthias and Nina. Big spoiler for Crooked Kingdom, if you haven't read it yet. It's so hard. It's so hard because, you know, I've just been reading The Burial. And now seeing them kind of first falling for each other is so much. It's so much. I almost cried. And I don't really cry with these things, so wow. Oh, it's really hard. I'm just really bad with things like that. So, for example, when I was in cinema, I cried through all of Catching Fire because I knew that Finnick would die in the third book. So yeah, it's so much fun. It's so good. It's so much fun. I really haven't enjoyed a TV show like this in so long. So, off to episode 7 now. Episode 7. Oh my. Okay, so I think it's interesting we learned how the fold was created. It definitely gives a lot of depth to the Darkling. Also, he's referred to as the Darkling in this kind of like backstory part. And yeah, I was really intrigued to see whether they include his name or not. I still feel for him. I mean, you can totally understand that he wanted to protect Grisha and create a world where they couldn't live without them. But yeah, obviously, his means are a little bit, yeah, not so great anymore. Genya, whatever. I don't remember the parts of the book so well. I guess it was similar in the books too. I think that I don't know whether I would have liked more explicitly what happened to her in the palace. I mean, it is referred to, but I can totally see people not understanding what they're talking about. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna leave it at that until season 2 with Genya, and I don't enjoy that. I want her to be happy. I love her so much. Also, yeah, the whole thing with the antlers is gross. It looks so gross. I mean, yeah, obviously, the animal cruelty part was horrible. Like, I completely forgot how that all went down, and it was not fun to watch. But like the antlers look so gross, and like anybody who has that like as a tattoo or something like that, oh, I'm so sorry for you guys. No, I don't know. I think it looks very gross. I thought it was like, I think they changed that. I think in the books it wasn't melted to your bones. It was like a bracelet or a necklace or something like that. So, oh, I don't like that. Yeah. Then obviously we have Inesh and Kaz talking, real talk time, which also, yeah, I just like how they're portrayed. I think Kaz is the weakest of the whole cast. I think all the other characters are cast better. I still like him, and I'm intrigued to see where that goes. We'll definitely get more of that in the last episode now. Jasper is my hero. And honestly, the goat. The fucking goat. I love it. I love it. Today on Twitter, I saw a post where they had the like Sancta Alina posters, but with the goat. It was like Sankt Milo of the rails. It was so funny. That was so funny. So yeah. I will watch the last episode now. Oh my god. I'm not ready. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot. I think the No Mourners, No Funerals, I can't talk, No Mourners, No Funerals is very late in the show. Why so late? So, I did it. I finished it. Yeah. Wow. I really, really like the ending. So yeah, my little cookie bean. I mean, I know that I always say that she's one of my favorite characters, but I kind of forgot, and it's just so painful. Poor Soya. I'm intrigued to see where the second season will go, because it sounds like now there's room for the real Six of Crows storyline. Also, Nina has met them now. And yeah, it just seems like the setup is there now for the Six of Crows storyline. And then also, Mel and Alina are leaving Ravka right now. So that's different, and we'll see where that goes. And then obviously right at the end, these like shadow creatures, they looked so cool. So cool. So yeah, I need the second season like right now. Like, oh my god, will I have to wait a year? This is so unfair. So I'm very glad that I have King of Scars and Rule of Wolves now, to kind of carry me over. And I think I will actually rewatch the show with my partner, because we started watching it together, but then he had to leave and I just finished it on my own. And I think I want to watch it again. So I loved it. I just loved it. So I'm on page 219 of King of Scars. I'm loving this reread so much. The combination with the show was perfect, but the fact that I love Nikolai and Zoya and Nina so much makes this the greatest book to reread. And it's definitely my favorite of the whole Grisha verse. Also, I just checked because earlier in this year I've read The Lives of Saints, and there is a story for the Starless Saint in there, and it is actually Yuri's backstory. So I was really excited to find that, because when I read The Lives of Saints, I was a little bit annoyed because I hadn't forgotten so much of this book. So I wasn't really sure whether I would find all the kind of Easter eggs that are in there. So having that little story of Yuri being kind of saved by the Darkling and the extension of the Fold, it was kind of cute to have that connection now. Also, let me just say this. How great is it that in the TV show, this book, The Life of Saints, looks exactly like the book they published. It only removed the author name basically, but the whole cover is the same in the show. And also the book that David throws is a version of a Shadow and Bone book. I didn't recognize that one, but I saw it on Twitter after. So I'm halfway through. Nikolai and Zoya and Yuri have just crossed over, and Zoya is just my little precious girl. I love her so much. I know that she's not the most popular of the characters, and I totally understand that, but she's great. I love her. I love her ambition, and I love her, her vulnerabilities, and she's just great. She's so great. I mean, her last scene in the show made me so sad. It's actually so sad. How is Isaac so cute? He's so cute. I love him. Okay, the lighting this morning is really horrible, but I am now a little bit more than halfway through this book, and we just got the first training session of Zoya and Juris, which, I do enjoy. He's such a brick. He really is not a great guy, but I do love their dynamic, because obviously he triggers Zoya, and that way she can, experience more of her real power. So I do love that. She's one of my favorite characters. Her losing, and that's a big spoiler, so if you haven't read this book, skip over this, but her losing her amplifier and just feeling naked without it, I can relate to on a weird level. I don't have an amplifier, but if you have some piece of jewelry like my necklace that you wear all the time, you feel weird when it's gone. And obviously this amplifier was much more than just jewelry. And I just love the exploration of that. And I think it's just such a fun concept. Also Isaac. I think the next chapter I have to read is from Isaac's point of view, and I'm really excited to get to that later today, because he's so cute. He really brings some more comedy into this book, I think, and he's just really adorable. So I'm 370 pages into King of Scars right now. The last chapter again was Isaac, and I don't know why, but last night I got a really weird feeling and I don't remember if he survives the book. And I'm really worried because I'm like, no, don't take him away from me. So yeah, I completely forgot. I forgot everything about his storyline. I didn't even remember him when he first pops up in the book. I was like, oh yeah, there's this guard guy. Yeah. And I completely forgot what happens later on. And I was totally confused because it was like, well, but they have like the ball thing with like all these young women who might be potential spouses. And at the same time, I know that Nikolai is somewhere else, and I'm like, how did that work? I don't remember. And then I remembered when it was brought up, and now I'm like really concerned about Isaac. So yeah, apart from that, I don't think I have any fresh thoughts. I'm just enjoying this book so much, and I don't know why people didn't like it. I love this book so much. I'm literally crying my way through the last parts of this book. I've cried all through chapter 25, and now I just finished, what is this, chapter 27. And I love Soya so much. I just love her. She's so great. Okay, so I just finished King of Scars, and on reread, I bumped it up to 5 stars. I just love this book. It's so good. The plot twist at the end, like, it's so good. So if you haven't read this book, major spoiler, but at the end we see the Darkling return. And he's definitely changed, but I'm just so excited. So yeah, I'm so happy that I can go right into Rule of Wolves now, which I will start right now. I will just prepare my bath and then I will take this book and start reading it. And I hope that this will be good. I hope that this will be good because I don't know. Are there any plans for more Grisha books? Does anyone know? Because I'm not ready to leave this world. I need more. But for now I have one more book. So we'll see how it goes. So I'm now about 100 pages into Rule of Wolves. So far I'm really enjoying this. Definitely after the end of King of Scars, there is a character reintroduced, and I was hoping that we get more right away, but for now we don't really. But I just reached the chapter about the princess, I think Aerie is her name. And yeah, she's an interesting character, and I feel like now I'm kind of at the crossroads, so it could go into multiple directions from here. In the first chapter of this book, we actually follow her big sister, who's the queen of the shoe, and we know kind of her position and what happened to her. So I think that, yeah, there could be a lot of like political things that could happen now at this point, and I'm really intrigued to see where that goes. I also really like the dynamic of Nikolai and Soya. I just think that it is so cleverly done. It's a little bit similar to Cass and Inesh, where you definitely see the connection, but it's just not too obvious. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And also with Nina's storyline, I'm intrigued to see whether we will get like an actual trans character in this series now, which would be quite interesting, especially with the tailoring and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this book so far, and I obviously have still a lot to go, so I hope I will enjoy it even more. I'm on page 190 of Rule of Wolves, and I thought I'd give you a quick update. I'm almost done with the first part, and I'm very excited for the second one. But the whole time I'm reading, I'm basically like, I want to know what happens, but I also don't want this to end, because I just love this book so much. And obviously I'm kind of in the hype train right now with the show and everything. So yeah, I'm just having the best time reading this. Nina is so smart, but also she's planning like her own little heist right now. And I really like all the references when she's like missing her friends from Six of Crows, but also when she's like, oh, I learned this and that from Cass Brecker and stuff. So there's a couple of references like that, and I really enjoy those. I'm also very worried because, yeah. Nina. Also Zoya, obviously. She's still my favorite character. I don't think that will change anymore. There was this scene where Nikolai was kind of weakened and they had this scene. I really don't know where this book goes. Like, I don't know. I really don't want it to end. I'm not ready to say goodbye to these characters. I just love them too much. Also, Nikolai crashing with his plane was hilarious. The little dialogue they had after that, where Jenya is basically like, I'm gonna heal you and you're just gonna be quiet in the corner until I'm done. And if I'm generous, maybe then you can go on, do your business. And he's like, do you remember that I'm the king? And she's just like, do you? This was such a good scene. I just love the banter in this. I love how kind of the Grisha Triumvirat, I don't know how to say that in English, and Nikolai have this really interesting power dynamic where he's the king, but he's also Nikolai. So, yeah. I just love this. I just love this. This duology was basically written for me, and I appreciate it. And then we also finished watching Shadow and Bone, the TV show, last night again. So I first watched it alone and now I watch it with my partner because I just wanted to see it again. It's so good. I think it's such a good adaptation and there's just so much room for more. One thing that really bugged me, I know that a lot of people are angry about some of the changes. The one thing that bugs me, since Zoya is my favorite character, is the moment on the skiff where she tells this random dude that she has family in Novosibirsk. And I was like, why? Why would you do that? That's not Zoya at all. She would never go around and tell random people she has family anywhere. Yeah, that was, a little bit too much, too obvious. But apart from that, I just really enjoyed the show so much. And then my partner asked me afterwards if I knew from the books where these Grisha actually came from. And I think we don't know really yet. But I have a feeling that Rule of Wolves might have some answers. So I really like, how this duology approaches the whole Grisha power thing again and views it from a different angle. So we might get more answers, which is really exciting. I'm at the beginning of chapter 14 and I'm trying to phrase this as spoiler-free as possible. But are they really bringing her back? Let's find out. Oh my, they did. They actually did. Oh my. Chapter 15 literally starts with the words the morning of the wedding. I'm not ready for this. I don't want this wedding. Nobody wants it. I take it back. I want the wedding. Oh, this book. So last night I finished the first part, which is almost half of Rule of Wolves. And wow, this first part was a wild ride. And the ending of that part actually made me like physically sick. Like I had a physical reaction to the ending. And I was almost afraid that I wouldn't be able to sleep, but it worked out luckily. But yeah, this book is something. So this next part of the video will be spoilery, because I want to talk about a couple of things that happened here. I will try to mark where the spoilers end, so you can just skip ahead if you haven't read this book yet, or yeah, it's also spoilery for the whole Shadow and Bone trilogy, so yeah, just skip ahead if you haven't read that yet. But basically, what happened in this first part? You know that at the end of King of Scars, the Darkling came back, and that was quite exciting because the Darkling has always been a character that I enjoyed reading about, and I think he's very intriguing. And then in this book, they actually brought Alina and Mel back, which is something I did not expect at all. I mean, we had the epilogue and everything, and it just felt like, you know, Alina and Mel would never make it back into the books. And then there they are. That was quite a surprise, and it actually makes me very afraid that this is the last Grishaverse book, just because so many things are popping up again. But yeah, we got some Melina scenes. I really enjoyed it. I must say that I don't remember Ruin and Rising at all, so I think there are a couple of references in there that I can't really place anymore, like the little boy with the cat. I know when I read the name of the cat, I was like, yeah, there was something, but I just don't remember it. Apart from that, yeah. So we got them back. The Darkling got his freaking powers back and disappeared. Like, what the hell? And then we switched back to Nikolai. The wedding, yeah. I thought that we should have seen more of the wedding. I mean, Genya and David are definitely like fan favorites, so that they get this big glorious wedding at all is great, but I would have liked to see a little bit more of it. And then we get the ending with the bombs and Genya being like, I can't find David, and you're like, what the fuck? Like, you can't do this. Like, it's not that I care about David so much, but I always cared about David as the love interest of Genya. And to be honest, I mean, Genya is like, she's such a beautiful butterfly, and I don't want her to be hurt anymore. I feel like this book focuses on all the characters that got the most shit during the earlier books. Like, we have Nina with Matthias, we have Nikolai with having been turned into a monster and now not really getting rid of it. We have Soya, who lost her whole family that she cared about. And then we have Genya, who obviously got destroyed by the Darkling and clawed her way back to life, basically. And I don't want these people to suffer anymore. So yeah, as I said, dramatic ending of that first part, and I can't wait to continue reading tomorrow. Also, I want a showdown of Zoya and the Darkling. I want her to destroy him, and I think we might get that. So I'm here for it. So I continue reading this. I am now pretty much halfway through, maybe even a little bit further. And this book is so much. I mean, they gave me the wedding, and then they gave me the funeral. Leroy Dugo has no heart, believe me. But also, we might get some crow action. Maybe, possibly. How cool would that be? This book is, yeah, it's just a lot. It's just a lot. I feel like it's gonna break me in so many possible ways, and yeah, there's just so much going wrong right now that it's just very hard to tell how this could ever go right in the end. But you know, we still have a way to go. So hopefully we'll have some more happy moments again as well, because right now it's looking quite bleak with all the different perspectives that we get. So yeah, I'll probably update you more soon, but it's very hard without giving spoilers. But yeah, it's a lot. It's just a lot, this book. So, this is a big spoiler. Jasper's back. I got Jasper back. I mean, there's still room for him to die, so I'm not quite sure if I'm happy about it, but I'm so happy about it. I love him so much. Oh, this book makes me so afraid and so happy at the same time. Okay, another spoiler time. But Bardugo has no heart. She's giving us this one soldier in Fiera who might still, be a little bit of hope. And now he's the one who killed Matthias. Really? Is she really going to do that? This book. So I just finished chapter 30, and that chapter really is a lot. That was the light going on, but yeah. Oh, how is this book so much? Also, the cat doesn't want to get up. Okay, big spoiler, but Zoya just became the dragon and it was so beautiful. I love Zoya so much. So not that much left now. I don't want to finish it. I don't. My queen. So I just finished Wood of Wolves. And it's very hard to say something right now because I have so many thoughts. First of all, I was so afraid throughout the book that this would be like the final one because we get so many things, reintroduced and stuff like that, that I was always afraid that this would be like the end. And it really feels like the end. If you read this book, it definitely feels like the end of like a series. But luckily, Bardugo decided to leave us with a little bit of a backdoor. So there is room for more. And from what you can gather, what would happen next, I really hope that we will get more, more books in this world. Because I just think that would be fantastic. Honestly, I decided to give this book 5 stars and put it on my favorite books of the year list, probably. And I really liked that when you look at the acknowledgements, it actually says that this series is not written for Nikolai, it's written for Zoya. And I think it's so sad that a lot of people assumed that this would be the Nikolai duology. And I was definitely one of those people because when King of Scars came out, obviously because of the title, people thought it would be the Nikolai duology. But it's not. It really is not. This is for Zoya to shine. And as I said like a million times before, she is my favorite female character. And so I really appreciate that, and I loved it, and I had so much fun with this book. It really put me through all the feels, mainly sadness, but sometimes it also just was so good that it made me cry. I also talked about how this book might introduce the first like trans character, and I'm very glad that this is a direction that was taken with this book. I still think it could have been discussed more, but as I said, there is room for more, so maybe we will get that. And I really hope so, because I think that it's very interesting, and as I said before, it's just an interesting possibility to incorporate it with the tailoring and all. So I like that addition. I think that it made sense, and that it just added something. Yeah, it just added something to the story, and I'm just it was so intriguing how it was handled in the end. I guessed it, but still, it was, I think, very cleverly done to also bring the story forward, kind of. I mean, obviously, at the end, things fall into place quite nicely, and there's a lot of luck involved, but it kind of goes with Nikolai saying that nothing is impossible, but just things are improbable, and that's a little bit what this book feels like, but I guess that matches the vibe, so I'm not mad about it. And yeah, it's just, I realized that I'm so in love with this world and the characters that I really just want more. I don't really care. Like, obviously, if there would be more books set in the Grishaverse, I guess they would follow other characters, and I'm totally fine with that as long as we get like the usual little cameos here and there. Then also, I wanted to say one spoilery thing. So yeah, if you haven't read this and you don't want to get spoiled, it's not a major thing, it's just a tiny thing, but I thought it was so funny because, you know, recently the show came out and a lot of people were very happy that Alina and Inesh actually meet and that this was like something that a lot of people wanted to see. And then in the end of this book, like right in the last chapter, you have that moment where they almost meet. They almost meet. And then they don't. And I thought that was so clever. Because obviously, because of the show, people are like, oh my god, they're gonna meet, they're gonna meet. And then they just don't. Yeah, it was quite funny. And yeah, that was a very, very interesting journey. And I loved it. I mean, I loved the show. I loved King of Scars even more than I did on the first read. And I loved Rule of Wolves a lot. So this was a very successful vlog and I will end it here. If you have read these books, I would love to know because I feel like no one has that, you know, I'm watching. So yeah, I feel like a little bit in my own bubble right now. So yeah, if you have read these books, I would love to hear what you thought of them. And if you haven't, maybe let me know if you're now feeling like picking them up, because I know that a lot of people didn't actually pick up King of Scars because, you know, the first feedback wasn't that great. So I still think that is very unfortunate, and it's mainly because people expected something that isn't what these books are. So if you're ready to go on that journey with with Thoya mainly, then I think you will love these books. And yeah, I will talk to you soon. So bye.